labeled as true, you have the death of truth. Now, it may be difficult for contemporary Christians to understand what I'm about to say, but the Christians living in the first few centuries of the Christian faith were marked and persecuted as atheists. And you will be too. If a revival doesn't break out in this country, this is one of the reasons you're going to go to jail. Now, the culture surrounding the Christian was immersed in theism. The world was filled with images of deities, and religion was a booming business. Men not only tolerated one another's deities, but they swapped them and shared them like baseball cards. The entire religious world was going on just fine until the Christians showed up and declared that the gods made with hands are no gods at all. They denied the Caesars the homage they demanded, refused to bend their knee to all other so-called gods, and they confessed Jesus alone to be Lord of all. And therefore they were labeled atheists. The entire world looked on such jaw-dropping arrogance and reacted with fury against the Christians' intolerable intolerance to tolerance. Now I want you to look at something. Look at these words. Jaw-dropping arrogance. The same scenario abounds in our world today. Against all logic, we are told that all views regarding religion and morality are true, no matter how radically different they are or contradictory they may be. The most overwhelming aspect of all of this is that through the tireless efforts of the media and the academic world, this has quickly become the majority view. However, pluralism does not address the issue or cure the malady. It only anesthetizes the patient so that he no longer feels or thinks. Now, the gospel is a scandal because it awakens man from his slumber and refuses to let him rest on such an illogical footing. It forces him to come to some conclusion. How long will you hesitate between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow Him, and if Baal, follow him. The true gospel is radically exclusive. I never thought I would have to say this in front of a bunch of evangelicals. I never thought there would come a day when I would have to say such a thing to evangelicals, that the gospel is radically exclusive. I never thought that we would begin to lose Christ as the only way. Now listen, the true gospel is radically exclusive. Jesus is not a way, but the way, and all other ways are no way at all. Now listen to this very carefully, because this is what is happening today. If Christianity would only move one small step toward a more tolerant ecumenicalism and change the definite article "the" in "the Savior" for the indefinite article "a" or "a Savior," the scandal would be removed and the world and Christianity could become friends. Do you realize that? If we would simply say that Yahweh is a God, we would have no persecution on our hands. If we would simply say that Jesus is a Savior, I'd be on the Oprah Winfrey show. Do you realize that? All the scandal would remove if we just said, He's our Savior. You have yours, we'll have ours. We're not going to impose anything upon you. We're not going to wrangle in dialogue. Nothing. If that's your way, you go with that way, and I'll go with mine. If we would only do that, we would never be persecuted. But if we do that, Christianity ceases to be Christianity. We cease to be Christian. Christ is denied, and the world is without a Savior.